Welcome to day 9 of 59 days of healing. Today, we're still working with the second of 7 points for Healing Dualistic Mind, which is called Instill the Intent to Awaken. Maxim number 9 reads, exercise these maxims in all your everyday activities. How wonderful. We're already doing that. The whole point of these 59 days of healing is to bring an introduction to these maxims one at a time, one per day, so that that forms a foundation that we can use to continue to bring these maxims into our life on a daily basis. I learned an approach to this from Pema Chodron in her many books on this practice, where I just picked a maxim at random every day. And I've done this for a very long time. What this maxim is saying is find your way for getting these maxims to suffuse your mind stream, to really be a part of how you interface with the world. Right now, our habits, our dualistic thinking, our fears, our anxieties, our anger, whatever it might be, is controlling our experience, is filtering and coloring everything that we encounter. This maxim is saying, bring the advice and the experience that you gain from the advice into your everyday activities all the time. One of the beauties of this practice is that over time, even if, let's say, today you pulled maxim number 9, something else may happen in your life that recalls a different maxim, because the more we train in it, the more automatic they are. The maxims come up as soon as something harmonizes with them, as soon as something calls them forward. So what this maxim is saying is be creative, have fun, play with these maxims. Don't just treat them as this obligation or a duty. Who wants to do that? That's no fun. The point is to bring them into all our activities, not as one more thing on our to-do list, but as something that's very natural, very organic, very spontaneous. And all of that comes from a very principled, dedicated, and determined practice. Doesn't just come out of thin air.
So I'm thinking this is a great moment for people to reflect on how this has been going for them. We're on day 9 of 59 days. You've been doing this for a little bit over a week now. What's that been like for you? How have you been using these? There's something that you happened to do one day with it that you were like, ooh, that was great. That really hit me. And so you want to maybe keep doing it that way, or you want to change things up. Or maybe since I'm not writing songs for each of these, maybe you want to write songs for each of these. So it seems like this is a great opportunity to kind of see how things are working and amplify those kinds of things that are working well for people, right?
And the flip side of that is also that these practices, especially early on, can bring some discomfort. You might feel a little pushback or some resistance, especially as we get into some of the maxims that are a little bit enigmatic and seem to be saying something very strange to our mind. But this is also part of the practice. This doesn't mean we should bear with any discomfort or suffering and just sort of put up with it and get ourselves through it, either in a living practice throughout the day or in a formal meditation practice when we're sitting on a cushion. It does mean that it's an opportunity to meet that discomfort, again, from a space that's not so dualistic. This is bad. If I didn't have this, it would be good. What training in the maxims does is it allows us to recognize our discomfort as weather, something that's coming through, and that we don't have to be attached to getting rid of it or chastising ourselves or whatever particular experience we have. What the maxims do is allow us to fall back into a much more spacious, visceral, and elemental experience of things, something that holds that discomfort with the ability to learn and to heal it little by little. It's not going to happen overnight. But what it does do to train with these maxims is it starts pointing out how wiggly that dualistic mind can be. All of the escape hatches that we find, the ways that we turn a blind eye to things that are uncomfortable and so forth. Working with the maxims allows us to encourage ourselves to accept all of our experience, not just the things that we think we should be doing or feeling, but everything that comes up for us. And that is an incredibly potent way of befriending ourselves and really genuinely caring.
So we want to be principled and disciplined, but we don't want to treat this as an obligation or a duty. I'm wondering what happens if someone's listening and they say, "Uh-oh, I fell behind. I skipped a few days. Should I go back and cram those days? Should I skip over those and go back at the end of the 59? Like, what should people do if they're, if they've been a little bit inconsistent? I hear that they should not be self-flagellating around it, but what kind of corrective action might they take?
One of the beauties about presenting this in the podcast format is if you want to take this as a kind of challenge, for example, and do it every day and get yourself to that point, you can certainly do that. But challenge has some of that edge to it that may not be so positive. If you missed a couple of days, so what? They're recorded. Pause. Stay where you are. Give yourself space, give yourself time so that you see how you're being both principled in that you are following your commitment to yourself to heal. And at the same time, not in this sense of a duty or a hard challenge, but a kind of gentle encouragement more than a hard challenge, where maybe it does suit you better. Maybe you like to keep up with them as they go rather than pausing. Go back and just look at those maxims that you missed. And then when the 59 days are over, you can just do them all again. And you can continue to do that in a cycle, or you can start looking at them randomly. You've got time. Be gentle with yourself. Yes, be principled, which is about precision, but also be gentle, which is about the poetry of being who we are and accepting ourselves.
So balancing out an urgency of turning our minds toward Dharma with allowing ourselves some spaciousness in terms of how we actually implement that.
Exactly. And honestly, being very frank with ourselves. One way to consider this dualistic mindset is that it's an ingrained habit that we've been meditating on since time without beginning. It's not going to disappear overnight. So we have that sense of principle and determination because we know that it's going to take a big effort to counter that. And at the same time, we have the lightness of being able to give ourselves whatever time it takes to do that.
This has been Yeshe and Tanya on day 9 of PRAJNA SPARKS special series, 59 Days of Healing. Tune in daily for more maxims from the Tibetan Lojong text, 7 Points for Healing Dualistic Mind. Check the episode notes for more resources and email us at sparks@prajnafire.com with any questions. May all beings benefit.